Hey, everybody. This is the New Progressives with another podcast episode. This is our biggest group yet. This is Trisha, Jenny, and Christy in her debut podcast appearance. Yay! Now, I've known all these ladies for decades, so we're going to just jump in. But first, we're talking about the January 6th committee. And if you don't know, the hearings are starting this week on Thursday. And there's supposed to be 2 weeks of hearings. They're going to be prime time. Some are going to be during the day. But we need to bring everybody up to speed. But before we do that, Trisha has an update on what seems to be a weekly news alert now. Some more mass shootings. So,
I really hoped whenever I texted you right after Buffalo
mm-hmm.
that, man, I feel like I'm sending this to, like texting you about this all the time now, like daily almost.
Mm-hmm.
Uvalde happened right after that, just mere days. And so as we're talking about this, and the shootings after shootings after shootings are happening, last night in Philadelphia, and the details, they really didn't have a lot of them based on what I read this morning in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I heard a little bit about it on the TV, MSNBC. She didn't have a lot of information. They haven't provided a lot of information. All of the suspects are still at large. No one's been caught. So they don't really have a lot to go on right now, except that 3 people are dead. Same thing in Chattanooga, Tennessee. People were shot, people were killed, 3 people, and again, shooters remain at large. So there are not a lot of details to give out, except that they happened and they should stop.
2 within 24 hours. I mean, this is getting outrageous. When you said that, I remember after Buffalo, when you texted me that, you were like, I need to set an alert for mass shootings, a weekly alert or whatever. And we both kind of like chuckled, like, haha. No, it's actually there now. I mean,
daily alert, yeah.
I was afraid it was going to be becoming a thing, like people wanted to get the attention, get the quote unquote notoriety. So here we go.
And they've been given, we can see, and this ties right into what we're talking about today, because to me, it seems like after January 6th and the attack on the Capitol, the attempted coup, let's be clear, that's still ongoing, those people heard a rallying call. They heard, instead of reacting the way most Americans did, like, what the hell is happening right now? There is a small chunk of people who said, all right, it's on now. Now is the time. And so why I wanted to talk about the January 6th committee hearings is because this is basically our democracy. These hearings, how we react as a public, is going to determine whether we continue to be a democracy or not. After the impeachment hearings, and Bill Barr came out and was like, oh, there's nothing to see here. Everybody's like, well, nothing happens. That's the attitude I get from people. They're like, oh, well, yeah, they're going to have the hearings, but nothing's going to happen. That's self-fulfilling. We can't just say, oh, well, because if we say, oh, well, we're Nazi Germany. Okay.
I don't think that people recognize the magnitude of what we are facing right
now. I don't.
Because when we became a nation, they recognized the magnitude at that time. It was give me liberty or give me death. And they did it, and they were in it, and they were going to do whatever it took to get where we became a republic, a democracy. And they took the time, they gave the effort. And then we had the Civil War. No, not the War of Northern Aggression, lest anyone be confused. But everybody who was there was like, this democracy, this is worth defending. We will give our lives for this. Now we're facing this disastrous attempted coup, which, believe me, and that I love, I forget, maybe it, I'm going to think of his name in a moment. He's brilliant. He says it all the time, but a failed coup
is just a dress rehearsal.
It's a rehearsal. That is all. We are staring
they are planning it, yeah.
Of the annihilation of our democracy. And it's going to take everything we have to keep it.
Yes. And I think the Civil War analogy is the closest. because as John Meacham pointed out in his book Soul of America,
This is who I went to
that
say.
was John Meacham, that was really us reestablishing this country. From the time of the revolution, the Civil War was deciding whether or not we're going to be one nation. And even though there were people in the North, lots of them, who didn't agree with, they didn't want black people living or free, basically. They just didn't want them enslaved in this country, right? They're like, can't we just send them back to Africa or something, right? But the fundamental thing was they were like, but we can't be a nation where half the country is this way and half the country is that way. We have to be one.
Mhm.
And so everybody fought for it. The majority fought for it. And we are living in a cold civil war that is getting hot. Just like in Ukraine, where, Russia kept threatening them for 30 years and stuff. And now we see what's happening. We don't want that here. And that's what, like I said, you see these gun violence, these mass shootings and stuff. These are people like that kid in Buffalo who have heard a call and think, okay, well, it's on now. Everybody get your guns. So we're talking about a gun debate when we're actually talking about a civil war, people. We so used to tuning out and letting things just go on autopilot. They don't go on autopilot. This is a self-governing democracy. If we're not paying attention, it's just going to fall off the wheels. The people that are paying attention are the ones trying to destroy this country.
Well, and the people who think that if this happens, it's okay because we're in the right camp, or they're not talking about me, or they aren't coming after me, understand that you're not at the top. So if you're not at the top, then eventually they are coming for you. And if you are at the top, someone below you is coming for you too. That's the attitude everybody in that squiggly, squunched out, nasty cesspit of snakes, that's how they are. You don't live at the top. You don't stay at the top when you're nasty and ridiculously craven like that. Somebody else is coming behind you. And everybody who thinks that the snake pit is not going to consume you as well, you'll be thrown into it then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I mean, it's just like the gas prices. One of my neighbors was saying today, he went to go get an oil change at like Valvoline or something. They don't have any oil. Went to an oil change place and there's no oil. He's like, there's nothing anywhere. See, so if you're not paying attention to the news, you don't know that there's an oil embargo happening in Europe. You don't know what's happening in Ukraine, that there's a wheat shortage in the world. And so all these, you can be tuned out all you want, but eventually it's going to trickle here and it's going to hit us right here. And so, yeah, go ahead, JP. Oh, sorry. So you got people talking like, I thought you say that, but yeah, people are like, yeah, I don't, these gas prices.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is already calling for violence again.
See.
And they haven't taken that tweet down. It's still up where she's saying that people are going to rise up any minute now because they're tired and blah, blah, blah. She's been on this trans thing for, days now, and it ends it with that.
Good Lord.
To what end? I mean, why is she so bothered by somebody who isn't bothered by her and wants nothing to do with her at all?
Because she knows it gets those monkeys riled up. They throw out the red meat so they can get the sharks going at it. It doesn't even matter what the topic is. Yeah.
She's blaming monkeypox on gay people, so I mean, that's literally.
See, this is why, you know how I know you're gay? This is why. If it's your reason d'etre to hate people because of what they do in their private life, you're hiding something and you might as well come out the closet so you won't be such a hateful freak, right? Just be who you are. It's like they try to prove they're not gay by being hateful.
She might as well just admit she's a prehistoric human.
Yes, a knuckle dragging Neanderthal.
I mean, who thinks that Jewish space lasers are, going to kill us all?
Yes.
Doesn't get to have a platform.
Thank you.
Our society.
I mean, she's in Congress and doesn't even have any kind of power. Like, she doesn't have authority for anything. I mean, she is literally there just to have a platform to rile up these freaks.
Yep.
I mean,
raise money.
Mm-hmm.
See,
So,
no.
Christy, You're one of the people, like, I want to get your perspective because, like I said, I know you've been busy. You're a teacher. So
Yes.
I absolutely, the things that are going on in Uvalde and stuff like that. I mean, their idea to arm teachers. Tell me how you feel about that.
Oh, well, when that incident happened, we were having our field day. We had every single student in and out of that building all day long, K through second grade.
Doors not locked?
And no, our doors are locked.
Mm-hmm.
That is one good thing. We you have to have a key card to get in. We don't let parents in the building. We meet them at the door. We check their ID. We send their kids out. Things of that nature. But it doesn't make it impossible for somebody to get into the school building.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because we have kids all the time that will stand by the door during recess, because they want to sneak in the classroom and, try and find your candy stash or grab a toy out of their bag to bring outside. And they'll wait for somebody to come out, and that door opens, they slide right in, and you're like, hey, where'd so-and-so go?
See?
But no, we have, with our playground, there's a whole community of new homes that they've been building over, I'd say a little over a decade now, and you're facing the backyard of every home that's there along our fence. And when I found out what happened, I didn't find out what happened until I got home, and my husband brought it up because he had just seen what had happened. My first thought was, oh my God, that could have been us today.
That could have been us.
And it could have been not, closed in a school building or inside our classroom. We had hundreds of children in our backyard.
Yeah.
Open season is what that would have been.
Yeah. And now it's like, they're like, oh, go ahead.
And even the next day when I came home or went back to school, and I take my kids to lunch and I drop them off, I do my 15 minutes in there with them. They won for lunchtime because we give out tickets during field day. So they got enough ticket points that at lunchtime they got glow sticks in the dark with music on for lunch. And I'm in the lunchroom and I'm dancing with my students and they're having their little rave party, and I come back to the classroom to eat my food, and I'm watching the kids who are outside playing already, and all I could do is cry.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I want to now, but I'm trying not to because you're videotaping me and stuff.
It's all right.
Look weak. But
no, that's all right. We need people with compassion. Yeah, I mean, people have to put themselves in other people's shoes. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I thought, it could have been me, and it could have been us every day. Every day. At recess, because there's no way of there's no privacy. There's no way of keeping anybody from shooting into our own backyard.
See, and if you can't keep kids safe in an elementary school, right, as a nation,
it shouldn't have to be fortified either. The kids aren't in prison.
Thank you, and it wouldn't help. Again, because we're looking at shootings in grocery stores, in churches.
Right.
So we harden everywhere.
Clubs, on the street. I mean, come on. No.
Or because I'm an elephant in the room type of person. I mean, it could be the motherfucking guns. I mean, or maybe we take guns away from people. How about that? How about we limit the kind of guns people can have and actually do background checks? So if a gun is used to murder 19 children and their teachers, we can trace that gun. And we know who bought it, and we hold them accountable. How about that? I mean, our Senate literally a week after Uvalde, are like, they've already given up. I love Chris Murphy. I thought he gave a passionate floor speech, but at the same time, they're like, well, we need anything, just something, just anything, and just something ain't gonna fix it, and we know that.
Well, and stand firm, be strong. I'm tired of hearing about how, oh, well, if we don't have more voters, if we don't have more this, then we're going to lose the midterms. And then, oh, where will you people be? Well, same place we are right now.
Right.
So do something strong. Do something bold.
Do what we need done.
Needs to be done.
Yes.
And then if people get angry, well, then they're angry, but at least we're getting something done, right?
Then go pound sand. 80% of this country agrees. When you get a car, you have to register it with the DMV. You have to have a driver's license. You have to renew your tags every year. You are on record. If your car is in a vehicular homicide, that gets traced back to you. They know whose car that was, and you get arrested. And this is, again, so it's a car. A car can be used to travel, but it is also a dangerous thing. It can be used to kill people. A gun has no other purpose other than to kill or maim. So in this country, what the hell? We were founded on common sense. It's supposed to be common sense. And yet, sense is not common anymore. And it doesn't make fucking sense. I'm fed up. I've been pissed about the gun issue for decades now. And this day after day. And like I said, it goes hand in hand with the messages that these people have been receiving since January 6th. The fact that only the low-level people who actually attacked the Capitol have been arrested so far. But now we're starting to see movement. Now we're starting to see the DOJ, because I don't know if you saw Christy or Jenny on Thursday. Oh, Jenny, you saw. They arrested Peter Navarro, who was supposed to be the trade secretary under Trump. And
yeah, I didn't see that.
Arrested him at the airport. Yeah, because he defied a congressional subpoena, and I think Frank Puglisi, he's a former FBI specialist, he was like, it's the difference between like Congress giving you a subpoena is like HR calling you to the office. He was like, the DOJ issuing a subpoena is like the police coming in. And so Navarro's gotten away with saying fuck you to the committee. Well, then the DOJ issued a subpoena, and he thought he was supposed to show up on Friday at 9 o'clock. And guess what? He was on an airplane, about to get on a flight to go on vacation. He got grabbed up by the police, by the marshals, and taken to jail. So, yeah.
He should be on I Almost Got Away with It.
Yeah, exactly.
He was on the news the night before bragging.
Yes.
And they're like, well, if you're going to sit here and come on here and say all this, why won't you speak to anybody? He's like, because I don't have to, because they're construe it. Because of this, I don't know, like a million different reasons. And boom, the next day, he was in handcuffs.
In handcuffs.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was loving it. And then came out spewing the same dumb shit. Yeah. So it's getting real. And like I said, I've been skeptical of Merrick Garland. Because, like I said, I wanted every single one of them bastards that attacked the Capitol in jail that night. The fact that they were like, all right, now everybody go home. I'm like, seriously? That was a bunch of black people? That was a bunch of Muslims? You think those...
Nobody would be going home.
Nobody would have gone home. They'd have taken paddy wagons from neighboring counties to bring them all in. They were like, okay, it's over. Go home. Yeah, thank you. So that alone pissed me off. But now... they have used, I think the DOJ is being way smarter than we were giving them credit for by going after those people at the bottom, and now they've turned, and now they're giving up evidence that goes all the way to the top. And so the January 6th committee, all this, like they performed last year, literally like a year ago in last June, and all of them, Trump and all of his people were trying to stop. Went to the Supreme Court to say, oh, they can't do this. This is literally in the Constitution what the Congress can do. And so it went ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of waving it around.
Right, because some of those people currently sitting in our Congress should be, per the Constitution, removed from Congress.
Yes.
Nancy, Chuck,
Jobs.
That's what it's about. Bye, Holly.
Yeah.
Bye, Cruz.
Pipe bomber.
Yeah.
We don't know who she is.
And you saw Gomer was like, this Gomer, Misty, my sister was like, we need to start using that name as a curse word. Like, that's the word for stupid. You big Gomer. Right? He came on TV and was like, well, now you can't lie in front of Congress, and now you can't lie to the DOJ without going to jail.
As a Republican.
What the fuck? Yeah, you can't perjure yourself in court without getting fined. Okay.
Where was the press release on that?
Yeah, you big Gomer. Like that's my new you big dummy. That's you big Gomer.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect name for that.
It is. When I told Misty, she was like, "Who is it?" I was like, "Well, he's some congressman named Gomer." She was like, "Well, that's a perfect name for somebody that's stupid." I was like, "Yeah, Gomer. You're a Gomer."
It's troubling to me, and that's putting it mildly and kindly, that someone currently sitting in our elected government does not understand that you don't get to lie to the FBI. You don't get to lie to Congress. That is Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm a lay person. I'm a citizen, and I know these things.
Yeah.
So, Gomert, may I suggest you go back and learn some history? And,
I suggest he go get, I was about to say something I'm not allowed to say, but he can go to HE double hockey sticks, so yeah, so the January 6th over this last year, they've been, we've been getting some of what they're looking at. I mean, and Mark Meadows really, he gave them his cell phone and his email, some of his messages. And they even plundered that stuff and then he stopped cooperating like the next day. But you've already given us all this. So
Right.
I just wonder what made him think that, yeah, I'm going to give you some. But then he was like, oh my God, what have I done? So,
that's what he thought.
I can't take it back.
That's what he thought.
I'm not cooperating with you anymore. Seriously, are they all this dumb?
Yes. They're the party of the stupid people. They said that, not me.
No, that's not us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, Trump loves the uneducated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're easier to fool and trick and make them do whatever you want them to do. So yeah, they had a lot of stuff already. And, I was starting to get nervous because, you had some of the committee members like Raskin and stuff saying, oh, well, we've got, when you watch the hearings, it's going to blow the roof off the place. And I'm like, please don't build it up, because we've heard a lot already of what's been going on. But don't overhype it well.
Well, I've heard a number of pundits say, and I'm afraid that this is going to be true. Those of us who have seen this and have stayed dialed into this and we know what happened and we know what's going on, and we will be, I feel like, appropriately shocked and horrified, right? When we watch and hear these hearing testimonies. Those are willfully ignorant in this, people who don't want to know, people who believe the conspiracies or who say that, well, it was just a peaceful protest, and what about Black Lives Matter anyway? Those people are not going to believe any of this. They're not even going to tune in.
No.
And people who are indifferent, a few of them may, be able to be exposed to some truth and be convinced that, yeah, this was a really bad thing. But the majority of them will probably likely stay indifferent. I saw an day on a news network, right? Or, oh my gosh, watch tonight, the MTV Awards, blah, blah, blah. Which, if you're 16 years old, or whatever, then maybe. But, we have real stuff that we're doing as adults. I mean,
if you're a voter, 18 and over.
Right. There are things that you should be doing and paying attention to. I'm just saying MTV Awards is not one of them.
It is not.
So I'm not saying don't go watch MTV Awards. That's not the thing. It's just disturbing to me as a media buyer that they thought that would be a right place to hit that audience, that's what they would be watching.
So
because they want you to make that priority, so you miss out on the important stuff. That way you're confused and you don't know what's going on.
That's right.
I mean, let's face it, people would rather be on social media and following celebrities and playing video games.
Yep, we don't have that luxury.
They get enjoyment out of it. It stimulates them.
I'm not against people having, you know, enjoyment and watching movies.
You gotta be able to do both.
Whatever celebrity.
Yeah.
Not my thing. I don't really, whatever. I mean, but I get it. I watch football. I watch baseball. I love sports. I love, you know, going out and hanging out with my friends. And, you know,
most of us adults do.
things, right?
We manage to do both.
But I can walk and chew gum at the same time. And I can prioritize. And I'm an adult. So then I know where my priorities should lie.
And so,
as opposed to, you know, being chasing down every different little, like, oh my gosh, did you hear what happened to whatever celebrity or whatever?
Which is exactly why I wanted, because we're going to be doing the live stream. Jenny's going to hook that up because, you know, I don't know how to do that, of the hearings this week, because we need to get people involved. Because, again, there's 25% of the country that's with this coup. There's 75% of us that are against it, but there's a good chunk of that 75% that has no idea what's going on. And so this is why we need to inform people. So what happened last week, what was, and I guess this is one of their first witnesses is going to testify this. Y'all listen to this, because you might not have heard this, Christy. There's somebody in the front yard, and I don't know who this dude is. I'm like, wait, what the hell? So, last week, this dude, he was one of the aides to then Vice President Mike Pence. You know how during the attack, you know, there's footage of this Secret Service rushing Mike Pence out of the Capitol, and they were supposed to take him away from the building. Apparently, this was part of the coup. They wanted him out of the building so that he couldn't oversee the counting of the electoral votes, which is the peaceful transfer of power. The day before the attack, his aides pulled this Secret Service detail aside and said, look, they're going to try to get him out of the building, and we don't think he's safe. Listen to that. They said that the then president, was threatening his vice president that if he didn't get out of the way, he might have them. He said maybe he should be hanged. This is what's leaked so far. So this is stuff we didn't know, that this was part of the plan.
I don't remember if it was Mark Meadows or what said the day before that we don't expect Pence to be there, so I'll probably be overseeing it. And now we pulled up that old tweet, and he's saying that's not what I meant. I meant he was going to be busy doing something for a few minutes, and I would have to oversee it. He said, I'm going to hear all the arguments that are presented to me. He didn't say I'm going to be up there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, in that job, you shouldn't be there at all.
At all.
So,
you're not. They had a plan to have Chuck Grassley, the pro temp, if Pence wasn't there, then he could have stepped in. That was part of the plan.
And he was the one that tweeted it then. He tweeted it. He said it. He said it in a tweet the day before. I don't expect Pence to be there tomorrow. For what reason? And everybody was saying, why wouldn't Pence be there in the messages? And like, what, the FBI didn't notice that?
Right. And Pence himself, he's the one, they say, who said, I'm not leaving the Capitol.
Right.
He knew they wanted him out of the way so that they could pull off the coup. He actually, I'll give him credit for that. I won't give him credit for much else, but I'll give him credit for that. He literally stayed there and was like, nope. And he had good reason. Where in the hell were they going to take him?
Well, no, exactly. Because he refused to get in that limo that was waiting on him.
His Secret Service was telling him to get in the limo, and he's like, nope.
I'm not doing that. Which, for that, I will give him credit because he helped maintain our current democracy. But
as fragile as it is right now.
And it is fragile, and I don't really believe that most people understand. I really am concerned that people don't understand.
Me too.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, you're just freaking out about nothing. You know, your hair's on fire. You're dramatic. You're whatever.
Or it didn't happen. Joe Biden's president, so it didn't happen. But it is ongoing. Literally, in this midterm, they are putting people in position as Secretary of State and the people that count the votes, the people that oversee the elections. They're trying to put them in place now so that in 2024, they'll have an easier time still in the election.
Oh, definitely.
Well, some Proud Boys got in office down south somewhere.
They got like 2 or something.
they're giving them direction to go form relationships with police officers and judges, and we're going to have all the lawyers. I mean, I don't know why people continue to say things on the phone that people can hear or get taped or in a room or whatever. Somebody's going to tape you. I mean, that's just the thing. I mean,
this is a plot. This is an ongoing coup. They really calculated it, planned it. They started the 2 days before the election putting this plan into place. And I think that's what should shock the entire country. I think, because we all thought, well, people thought that January 6th was spontaneous, that he gave that speech and they got all crazy and riled up.
Yeah, look at us, we're patriots. We're going to run to the Capitol. We are all in one mind, whatever.
This was a plan at the highest levels of our government to make this happen.
And I want to be very, I'm sorry, anybody who, gets offended by this.
Who gives a shit? We offend if we need to.
Most of those people in that crowd are not smart enough to know or informed enough to know that January 6th meant something in the first place. So somebody at the top had to tell them. There's no reason why any of them would know to go to the Capitol on January 6th because they don't know anything else.
They have evidence.
They're not smart.
Trump tweeted it out on December 19th. Oh, it's going to be wild. January 6th, January 6th. That's the evidence that's been coming out over the last year. And so, again, these hearings, like they said, we don't know everything. And just that little bit, we didn't know that they were literally, like they knew on the inside Trump circle, that they were planning on either kidnapping Mike Pence or killing him to make this happen. I mean, think about that. That would be like Joe Biden planning to kill Kamala Harris, for whatever reason. I mean, that's not normal in a democracy.
What happens in a fascist country? We pride ourselves on being the greatest democracy of all time, right? The most powerful democracy, the most well-organized democracy. We almost lost it.
Go ahead, Christy. What were you saying?
For a minority. I just want to say this is for a minority. This isn't even a majority of Americans that want what these fuckers want.
No, at all. That's why they're doing this, because they know they can't get majority support. They can't get elected with majorities anymore.
Well, no, look what DeSantis did in Florida with his gerrymandering bill, and the Florida Supreme Court said, we're not going to take that up. I mean, it's intentionally racist in its nature, and they're not going to do anything about it. And because Republicans cannot win if they just play fair. They can't do it because they are only appealing to 25% of the nation. Period. The end. So,
what were you going to say, Christy?
Oh, I was going to say, it makes me wonder, had they been able to pull that off, whether they overthrew us or not and flip the election results. But if they were able to do what they intended with Pence, how are they going to use him as their scapegoat? And how many Republicans were actually going to turn their back on Pence or not turn their back on Pence? It makes you wonder because, I'm awfully curious because I think I was on my way home from work when my mom called me and she's like, oh my God, do you see what's happening at the Capitol? And my mom's a Trump supporter. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. So, it was alarming and she, was really concerned about it at the time. But there wasn't a lot of information. And even though there was evidence that, this was not some insurrection from a bunch of non-Republican or Trump people coming in and trying to make it look like it was them. It's quite obvious it was them. But people just turn the tables really quick.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then, it was horrible, but it wasn't the people that voted for Trump. It wasn't my people.
See,
that's right.
The thing. But here's what happened, and this happens all the time. Emily, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, and it drives me crazy because we know how bad it was. We know that it was the gas bags people, and it was a coup, and it was all of these things. We saw it, and we know it. We have eyes, right? Well, here's the problem. then we start hearing from people like Navarro and all these other idiots who are like, oh, but it was just a peaceful protest. And actually, it's probably Antifa. And it was, oh, Black Lives Matter. And so then the media and the Democrats keep following that stupid squirrel and letting them form the talking, like, make the message. And
bring the issue.
No, we're not meeting you there on your mat. We're going to be over here talking about the truth and dealing with this like right now, because this is a potential disaster.
Yeah,
it is, and I can't believe the people who are still backing him.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
It puts such a bad taste in my mouth. I honestly, I don't get along with a lot of people I know anymore.
I know.
I don't hold my tongue. I don't watch what I say. I don't have respect. My mama, said the other night, because I got into an argument with her, because she was complaining about somebody's, vulgar mouth, and she had a good time having lunch with them, but she wasn't going to do it again unless, she spoke to them first and told them, how they were supposed to speak around her. I said, you can't do that. She said, yeah, I can. I said, no, you can't.
Right.
You can't tell somebody how they can talk around you. I don't watch how I talk around people anymore.
Me neither. Me neither. I'm
I
gonna tell
don't
the truth.
have to.
Yeah.
I said, with that dumbass bumper sticker you have on the back of your car, that tells me I don't have to.
Amen. Did we say that to you? Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I
You're
can
wearing your
talk
sign.
to you and about anything I want around you, and it doesn't matter if you're offended by it or not.
Yeah, I
And she
specifically.
said, so what you're saying is you don't respect me? I said, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I no longer take anyone seriously who is a Trumpster.
Amen. At all.
They
And I
were the
don't.
ones that said, fuck your feelings.
Yes. Ooh, it's on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know some really good Republicans who have they're like, that's not my party. That's not my party anymore.
Yeah.
And they've
There
left
are,
it.
yeah, a lot of Republicans. I could not call myself a Republican if this is your party. I would have left the party. So the people that are still in that, you can't be like, well, I'm not one of those. Yes, you are. If you're going to wear that label, you're going to vote for those people, you are. You're part of the problem. And I don't give you a pass on that. And I don't respect any of them. Again, this is a democracy. You want to live in a fascist state, go to Russia. I'm sure Putin will take you. Right? But this is.
They're looking for a savior. They're looking for a savior. They really are. They're really desperate, scared, and they see that things are falling apart, and their blame is misguided because they think that Biden's just worse than any other pedophile or whatever else is out there.
Yeah.
Biden's worse.
Yeah, because they've been programmed and brainwashed. I mean, this is a cultish following now. I mean, we were talking yesterday, and I was saying how part of what got me studying World War II a decade ago was, for the first time I was looking at those throngs of crowds at those Hitler rallies. And it was a documentary because, usually he's just speaking in German and whatever little snippets. But this documentary was showing the subtitles what he was actually saying. These are parents with their children. He's like, there's going to be blood running in the street. We're going to kill them all. I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, what turns a people this damn crazy? And it's propaganda. It's repetitive.
Lock her up. It starts with stuff like that.
It's finding that thing. And in this country, it only takes one thing. Those people. It's racism. That's our Achilles heel. All you have to do is pray to their racist side. And that's how you get them. And then you propagandize them.
Which is what Hitler said. Hitler said it. He said, America is not a threat. All you have to do is divide them amongst each other with racism, and they'll destroy themselves.
The other has been what has destroyed so much.
Putin's figured that out too. Again,
we don't even have to. We don't even have to go that far. Yeah, right. We only have to go back to 2014 to relate it to what's going on now and what happened on January 6th.
Amen.
Because remember when they were talking about going to the polls and voting, and people saying, oh, show up and monitor your voting polls and bring your guns and all that good stuff. Well, in 2014, when they invaded Crimea, and they had their, what's it called? Their, the vote, shoot, what's it called? It's where the public weighs in, the referendum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had the referendum, and then the public could weigh in and they could vote, their wishes as well. Well, guess what the observers documented? Men with guns at the polls. And guess what the turnout was? 97% in favor of joining Russia.
Yep. And threatening and intimidating. And that's what they're trying to make law now. They're trying to say even the people running the elections now can be part of that intimidation, which is illegal right now. I've worked dozens of elections, and we're not even allowed to talk politics when we're in there. You're not allowed to get electioneer, but now they're trying to change every single law and put partisans in those places.
They already didn't stand true to our election rules when I was polling the stations. And
really?
I've gotten so busy with teaching that I haven't done it at all this year. I haven't even checked my email that it would come through for me to see if I wanted to work the polls, because my last go around, was not good. I even called the election board.
Yeah.
While I was working. Remember, I told you.
I remember.
Told you. It was a horrible experience. Everybody said I handled it well, but oh man, I really wanted to just beat that man up.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
That's why we need people like you there, and that's why they're trying to move people like you out of the way. Like, I worked the polls in California, and they actually do it the right way. It didn't matter, because we had to kick somebody out in 2008 during that election. Yeah, there were people trying to interrupt and disrupt then.
Yeah. And the election, what was it, the head honcho, the election manager? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was some frail young girl that didn't do nothing about it.
She was scared.
Nothing about it. Yeah. The guy comes in with a 2016 Trump presidential shirt on. When he walks in the door, he points right at his shirt and he says, "Well, you know who I'm voting for?" And I want to say, "Well, that motherfucker ain't even on the ballot."
Right. I mean, see, too stupid for me. I can't.
So, and well, let me tell you, my Republican counterpart, my person, we're supposed to, if we have checks and balances together, we're supposed to be yin and yang, as a minister, right? And this guy is cussing me and telling me I must be a goddamn Democrat and things of that nature. And the response of this minister was shaking his hand, because the guy's in the service and talking about how he was in Vietnam, shaking his hand, I was Marine, yada yada yada. I mean, he's a forced minister. I don't believe a word of that guy's mouth. But he's been everywhere like Johnny Cash, and he's done everything, and I just think it's full of bullshit.
Hell yeah.
And I just thought, I can't fucking do this. Like, my doctor will not be able to prescribe me enough Valium for me to work these holds, because I'm gonna hurt somebody.
You were taking Valium, man, pop and smoking weed. Calm down.
I'm serious. I'm gonna hurt somebody.
I hear you.
I have a temper. I am a little hood and a little hippie.
Yes.
I've always been that way.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a new thing.
It is not.
I can be love and light and let's hang out and have fun. And I can be, I'm going to go make me a shank real quick because you done pissed me off.
That's right. That's what I say. I live that Ben Franklin quote. It really defines me. He's like, I'm good humored unless first provoked. Right? Don't provoke me now. I'm good humored, but you don't want to do that. You won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah. And I don't want to be that way. I don't like to feel that way. It takes too much effort. It takes too much of my energy. It just depletes you.
This is what's sad. There are so many poll workers just like you that aren't. My mom worked the polls last time, and she's like, I can't do it anymore.
Look at what happened it was Georgia, right? Where they were targeted by the gas bag and his people, and you didn't. Basically, they wanted her to not say that it was an honest
to
election.
decertify the ballots that she collected. Yeah.
And they wanted her. It was all kinds of craziness. And I mean, if I followed the whole story, she had, met with somebody who claimed to be in the law.
Kanye West people.
She was called into an interrogation room. This older woman, her daughter, called them at their home. They stalked them. They gave their name
on Fox, literally.
I mean, they were stalked. They were terrorized, basically.
For 2 years.
They just win a lawsuit.
Yep, they got a settlement. Yeah.
Got a settlement because, I mean, they're not playing
around. And that's what they're trying to do. And again, that's them doing it illegally, where you could sue and make a settlement. They're trying this election. This is why, like, we come out 25% in midterms. We need 100% participation in this midterm because they are literally trying to put people in place right now because they know people don't vote in midterms. So they're like, okay, we're going to put people in place that make this legal. Make it legal to intimidate you. Make sure that people like Christy and you and me and Jenny don't vote or don't work a poll.
I will work the next presidential election. I didn't do the midterms. I didn't do the special election here.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth the headache. Those weren't around here.
If they get through this midterm,
presidential, yeah, absolutely.
It'll be legal.
I'll take the day off work.
Yeah.
And I'll go work.
States are already making laws to make it so that they can overturn the will of the people. If they don't like what the electorate says, they can say, and we knew this way back whenever What's His Bucket in Michigan said he was going to promote city managers. If he didn't like the people that had been voted into office in city government, he could then elevate a city manager that would be
replace the elected mayor with the city manager. Yeah, the former governor.
It's supposed to be okay, and nobody really brought that was a huge red flag to me.
Yeah, that's how Flint's water was poisoned.
Years ago. And they've been steady marching down that path since that time.
It's been a plan. This is a planned coup. This is a quiet coup. They wanted to catch us all unawares. And again, these committee hearings, we're going to learn exactly how they planned it, exactly how high it goes up. Again, like you said, Tricia, there are people serving in Congress right now. The Gomerts and the Grassleys and the Taylor Greene, the Hoogie Taylor Greens and stuff. They were all part of this plot. They were all part of it. And they're serving right now and voting down bills and stuff. And how in the hell are they still in Congress? This is where people have been frustrated and saying, oh, well, nothing's going to happen to them. This committee hearing is for us, is for the people to stop, acting like somebody else is supposed to take care of this. Nobody else is going to take care of this. It's up to us. We have to be engaged and we have to be tuned in. It is not going to resolve itself.
And a lot of people are disengaged. Even people who, whether they were Republican and did not vote for Trump, or they were Republican and they did vote for Trump. They've just become disengaged.
And lots of Democrats.
Because I think they're, I don't think it's ill intentions, because I know so many who are disengaged now. I think they are just so distraught.
And tired.
They're just like, I'm just not going to vote.
That's what I was telling, now,
that's a good thing on the Republican side.
The fewer them vote.
Like, okay, well, I'm not going to encourage you, believe me.
I had to tell somebody the other day, they're like, oh, I'm so sick of politics. I had to tune out after 2020, after Joe Biden got elected. I had to tune out. I'm like, my brother always says to me, I don't like politics like you do. I don't like politics. Politics is something we have to do in order to govern. I'm the type, like I say all the time, I was not the kid who, if you heard a noise, threw the cover over my head, right? All that does is guarantee I don't see what's coming, right? I'm the kind that opens my eyes, like, wait, what is that? What is that noise? I got to pay attention. And too many people have been like, oh, this is too much. And it's every day. Again, we got the gun violence. We got so much shit happening right now in these hearings. But we have to pay attention to it all. They're trying to distract us, throw as much at us as they can so that we get overwhelmed, so that we get tired. After 4 years of Trump, you think I'm not tired? You think I don't get annoyed? Listen to the news.
I wish my eardrums
And
would
what-
bust every time I hear his voice.
I fast forward or mute.
Look at that face.
Oh my God.
I
It's just like, I'm like, please, somebody hire me just to go beat up his family.
Let's start raising funds. We'll put it on the website. Send donations. We want them all done.
I will knock their dicks in the dirt, every one of them, if they let me. Put us in a ring. Let's raise some money for the DNC and the RNC.
Yes, I'll pay.
Everybody else.
Yes. Hell yes.
Put me in the ring. I might be little, but I'm mighty.
You can do it, right? I ain't scared, right? You know what I mean? That dude's never been hit in his life. He would crumble, I guarantee you.
He ain't been hit with nothing but, what the hell was it? Bone spurs?
Bone spurs. Yeah.
They were his own. They couldn't have been anybody else's.
And STDs.
And he's been hit with a golden shower.
Yes. He's been pissed on.
Oh my goodness.
Probably shadowed too.
I made the biggest fool out of myself one time because I was thinking of those golden rain trees and I was at work and I was like, man, you know what I would love to have, because we were talking about planting stuff, and I was like, I have one of those golden rain showers. And everybody just started laughing around me and they were like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, they're such pretty trees. Like, oh no, honey, that's not what that is.
No, it's not. No wonder. I'm like, you might want to rephrase that.
So I'm always careful now with that word.
I have that same, like,
because I really think those people think that I really meant, or what it meant.
You want to get pissed on? Piss on you.
Now I don't even want to go.
Gonna piss on you.
I don't even want one now.
I don't even want that tree anymore. No,
I'm like, I don't want none of that.
I do the same thing all the time. I mess it up all the time. So.
Yes, it's too much, and they make it too easy. I was cussing that motherfucker out in my sleep the other day. It was like that slimy bag of human feces or something. Like, I'm like, these people are so gross inside and out. I mean, it's just like I want them done. I want them all behind bars. I'm like them. Lock them up, and who gives a shit what the charge is? Let's just put them away at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna try. Like Jenny, you said, like they're gonna have Fucker Carlson on while these hearings are going prime time, because they're gonna distract, just like they did in impeachment.
What does he ever have to say that's of any interest? I don't understand why he has a popular
Handball
show.
sacks.
He is the biggest good bag in the world.
I don't understand how they're so successful, because they're just dumb.
And they're really stupid. Well, because they're only talking to the stupid people. They're talking to people that will fall for this shit. Everybody who's rational and intelligent have left.
Kid Rock about 10 balls.
Right. I mean, and that's masculine, okay? To tan your balls.
I can't. I mean, look having a parade around as the poster children of masculinity.
No, it takes
Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity.
Right. Yeah, they're going to tell us how to be masculine.
I mean,
what a man is.
Is going to say how to be masculine. I'm sorry.
They're scared. They're all scared of this dumb piece of shit that doesn't know shit from Shinola. I mean, they're like, this dude, they're all bowing to Trump and shit like that. He has no power except that the power you're giving him. And he is dumb.
Yeah, he doesn't even really have the money that he has.
No.
I've never understood
He's rich.
willingness to kowtow to him whenever all of the Republicans could have said, you know what, collectively, we're not doing this anymore. No.
Yep. I think that's why Meadows gave up all those texts, because he thought that normal Republicans would take over and say, you know what, that's the bridge too far, until he realized 3 days later that they're all like, no, it was Antifa. No one Trump. And he's like, oh shit, well, never mind, I'm not cooperating. Like, you fucking cowards, you fucking small ball idiots. I mean, like, you, come on. I got bigger balls than these dudes.
Yeah. Oh, I do too. They just happen to be sitting on my chest.
That's right. They're right here. Big boobs.
I'm just gonna keep my nasty mouth shut because I already know what's bigger than all them.
Yeah, girl, tell it. I know. Shoot, we small and we regular, but we can do it. I ain't scared of any of those boys. They're stupid and small in more ways than one. Yeah. So we're, like I said, they're going to try to spin it just like they did after the impeachment trials. Here's what I'm hoping. Here's what I'm nervous about. Here's what worries me. I'm old enough to remember watching hearings in the Senate and in the Congress going back decades. And Democrats, I just pray that they don't try to grandstand. They take moments like these to try to give big speeches that bore everybody to tears. When just get to the fucking point, ask a fucking question. Don't be an idiot. I mean, because there were a few people who made really good questions and stuff in the impeachment hearings, from the Congress. But for the most part, they would take their whole 5 minutes just to say, this is wrong. This is a democracy. We all need to stand again. And it's like, shut the fuck up and get to the point. So I'm very glad that they're saying, and I can't even believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, Liz Cheney is going to take the lead on these hearings. Me and Liz Cheney don't agree on any motherfucking thing in life. Anything except for one. The most important. She's a patriot and I'm a patriot. We believe in this democracy and we're going to fight to keep it. And I trust her judgment on guiding this committee to get to the bottom and to actually tell the people what happened rather than making it all about them. Their political campaigns.
Look how her daddy's been dragged through the mud.
Well, he deserves it.
But still, he wasn't that bad of a guy.
Dick Cheney? Are you kidding me?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm
like, what the hell? Holy shit!
I'm thinking McCain, right?
You're thinking about John McCain. Yeah.
Yes,
I get him mixed up a lot too.
I don't know why. I have his face with the wrong name.
Yes. Darth Vader. He's in the trash bin of history the way he deserves to be.
Yeah, I don't like the Cheneys at all. Yeah.
And she is a Cheney.
I think, I had McCain on the brain because I was thinking of him earlier.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't believe, I couldn't believe how so many Republicans, when they were dragging him through the mud, that they didn't say, oh, fuck you, dummy.
Right. Well, Lindsey Graham. Right. They were supposed to be buddies.
They were best friends.
Yep.
And Lindsey Graham's too busy, kissing up to the gas bag.
Licking dumbasses' balls.
Meanwhile, his friend's over here dying. Right? So, but, whatever.
He needed a new master. He needed a new whip and chain around his neck. Yeah. Fucking idiot.
Even like the veterans. There's so many veterans, and he was a prisoner of war. They didn't even bat an eye.
Yeah. I mean,
are you serious?
These are the Blue Lives Matters people that were beaten and maimed in Capitol Hill police.
Pro-life, Blue Lives Matter, patriots, all you fake people, just shut up talking to me. I don't hear a damn word that you
don't have a leg to stand on.
I'm tired of your rhetoric. I'm tired of you faking and pointing and judging. Shut up. Sit down. Stop it, because you have proven you are not pro-life.
At all.
You have proven you are not a patriot. You have proven that you don't care anything about the lives of police officers who actually, yes, do put their lives on the line every time they walk out the door with that uniform and that badge. So no, stop talking to me.
They are part of a death cult. It is a death cult. That's what it is. They're not pro-life. They are a death cult now.
You know, it's funny about people that have become Trumpsters. I hate to use Republican. I just like, it's like its own entity. It's its own party now, the Trump party. But these Trumpsters that have become or swayed that way,
these
and
fascists,
are pro-life now. I know quite a bit of females who have had abortions. A couple had one. I know one that said if her daughters got pregnant and were not married before they were 30, that they would make them have an abortion. They're yelling Trump from the rooftops.
Hypocrites.
Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
They're the dog that caught the car. Now what? Now what? And these
own
Republicans.
The libs. That's all it's about right now. Own the libs.
And they thought they could ride this monster.
Wait, maybe you can explain this to me, because I still have my head. I find this completely highly entertaining. Every time I see it, it's the dumbest thing in the world. It trolls no one on the left. We laugh at you. We mock you.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you that seeing your truck painted with "Let's Go Brandon" on your car is not the troll that you think that it is. Meanwhile, I am dying laughing right at you, not with you, at you,
at you,
mocking you.
It's like Jeff Foxworthy said, "This is your sign." You're showing us all just how stupid and crazy you really are. Wear your sign. I'm glad they wear their sign. You might as well be walking around in a hood. I got it. All right, you're one of them. Good. Then I don't have to respect you. I don't have to acknowledge your existence. I'm going to pray God keeps you as far away from me as possible, because you are the grossest, like Hillary Clinton called it, you're the deplorables. And that's a nice word for it. You're the despicables. I can't stand you.
Oh, that's an educated elite person.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you are.
Use no big words and book learning.
And I mean, there are many of those signs all over where I live, right? People have them hanging from their homes and all of these things. And I laugh. I just laugh. I'm like,
there's your sign.
I spent money on that.
I've seen a house where one side of it's painted Trump. I see big barns. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. And then of course, the F***CK Biden signs are showing up more and more.
You know what? Fuck you, Brandon.
And
go fuck yourself, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon, up the street now.
And but I'm like you, I laugh at people, especially during the pandemic when everybody had to wear masks and somebody in the store would pass me with a Trump mask on. I mean, I would die laughing right in front of their face. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now.
Yeah.
And I'm walking away from them.
Instead of having us guess, you just want us to know just how stupid and crazy you are. Okay, got it. Right, you're dumb. And then Trump, he ain't even running for shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like you been
and they're still wearing them.
No, the best one was when I saw a sign that said Trump 2034.
So take math out of the schools too. Let's not teach math either. 2 years from now or 10, whichever one, same deal.
So yeah, makes total sense. I'm like, seriously, people, good God, no.
This is
there's this it makes us mad. They really think that stuff makes us mad.
They do.
Thank you.
It just confirms what I already know.
I think there was maybe only one time I got mad, and you know about it, Malika. Because I used to go into the college to work. I went through this little teeny tiny burg. I mean, little tiny burg, and everybody had a Trump sign. Everybody, but one house. They had their Biden signs, right? And I'm like, good for them.
Yeah,
right on. They have some balls.
Yes.
Living around all these people and put their Biden sign outside. And then one day I came by and they had one Biden sign on the inside of their house on the window because somebody had taken all their signs. So to this day, if I'm going through that burg, even though I don't go through there now to go to work anymore, I have a, fuck Donald Trump playlist on Spotify. So I play it when I'm rolling through that little town. And I'll even
Let
do
them
like
know.
circles just so they know.
Yeah. You ain't alone, yes, and we stand in solidarity.
I got
Have you heard that?
Well, I got a pretty good idea. What I'm thinking is putting not Trump, but put a Biden flag out there and then get a motion sensor detector. So if anyone comes near it, it's like gunshots going on.
Yes,
Be like,
yes. and have a camera set up to watch them.
And you know what? They'd probably go into to the county
camera? I just need
complaining about it.
Yeah. That's a brilliant idea.
I got my rights too.
Yeah. They're like, freedom.
I don't even like the word rights anymore. I like the word obligations.
Yeah. It's an obligation.
It's like, fuck your right.
You want
your
rights.
Obligations.
There's a duty. Yeah. We have responsibilities.
Right.
Again, and your freedoms don't get to infringe upon mine, right? You're free, but so am I.
We're all
in a democracy.
Responsibilities because we are free and we're adults.
But again, we get the most. We thought it was breaking records when we elected President Obama at 64%. That's a high watermark of our participation. Now that's our fault. This is where we ought to be ashamed of ourselves. Because again, and when Afghanistan, when those Afghanis got the right to vote, they were under threat. If somebody saw their fingers dye green, they could have gotten murdered. And they voted at 97% in Iran, 87% in Afghanistan, because they know what it means to not have that freedom, to not have a voice in their government. And again, just like that person in that burg, if you let this go this far, if we go further than where we are now, that sign, they could have police come in and take them. You're not allowed to wear your sign. You got to be Trump or else. You got to be these people or else. That's not a democracy. That's not freedom. And as much as they like to wave freedom, that's fascism. It is people who are upholding the democracy and the fascism. This is not a two-party thing. This is not regular. This is what I hope Democrats fucking figure out eventually. This is not a partisan fight. This isn't the left versus the right. This is either we're going to have a democracy or we're going to have a fascist dictatorship. That's the question on the ballot. And I think Americans need to know that. That's why I want these hearings to elucidate for people that this is not an option. We are at this point. If we were in a mall, this is the X. We are here. Yeah. They've been building this up for decades, and now we are here, and it is up to us. 64% shouldn't be the high watermark. That's what Kennedy got, and that was the high watermark. Where is the other 36% of Americans? Do you think you get to not vote and not participate? This is how we end up with people like Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham and Goldbergs and Taylor Greene's in there. That's how, because there are people in your district that are just like, what politics? Ugh, I don't watch politics. Right. Because it's boring, because it's annoying. Yes.
We had politics to watch.
Thank you.
Let our democracy be destroyed.
Thank you. I tell my cousin that. I told him that before because he's like, after 2020, he was one of the ones that was just like, okay, good, now we can quit paying attention. And I said, where people don't have to pay attention? They don't have to pay attention. They don't have to worry their pretty little heads about what the bills, what politics are in authoritarian governments and dictatorships, because it doesn't matter what the fuck you think. Right. You don't have to worry your pretty little head. Y'all really think you're going to be able to sit there and watch the NBA finals and be on your little phones and not be disrupted if they take over? And they really could in this midterm.
And they could.
They could.
Have you looked up the, what is it, 846, I'm sure it's more now, people that have been charged for the insurrection? Have you looked up some of those people?
No.
Have you seen like the names that aren't common names, and you like look it up to see where the origin of that name came from?
No, I haven't looked it up. No.
Oh, girl, I was looking up some of them today. There were 3 siblings. Their family comes from Iran.
You see,
Supporting
people
Trump.
They're used to living in an authoritarian
capital.
They're used to being in an authoritarian government.
She's all over in the social media supporting Trump and the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
No shame. And somebody just had her on a podcast. No shame. No
Wow.
shame.
You see?
Who is that, Jenny?
And she supports crazy conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm. Who is it?
Crazy.
Yeah, what's her name? Who is it?
It's Bin Laden's niece.
Mm.
I don't know her name, but it's Osama Bin Laden's niece.
Lord.
Something Bin Laden.
That's alarming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
See, they learned the wrong lessons. In an authoritarian government, either you get on this side or you're not, right? And so they're trying to get on that side. They don't have a conceptual. They haven't conceptualized what it means to be in a democracy because we haven't been one in quite a while.
Yeah.
When 50% of the Senate controls everything, right? We're rolling around barely on fumes as a democracy right now. And now we are coming to the crash point. And so they're like, well, hell, they're trying to cast their lots with the side they think's going to win. And they've been on the other side of an authoritarian government. When you've been oppressed by authoritarian government, yeah, they're trying to get on the side that gets to oppress as opposed to being oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in a democracy, we get to say, fuck you. You don't get to do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our vote.
Well,
and that's our
Bin Laden's niece isn't even in the United States.
Mm-mm.
So someone's probably paying her to open her big floppy mouth.
Yeah, and Fox will propagate it right here in this country.
She doesn't have any say in our politics. Politicians shouldn't even be talking to her.
Exactly.
No,
it used to
not at all.
Mm-hmm. The price of democracy is eternal vigilance.
It's crazy.
It's
I'm one of them people. I don't file away names of people that I have no interest in. I'm just like, yeah, forget that person. Who's that crazy blonde hair woman?
Which one? Which one?
There's a lot of those.
Yes.
The one that was all in with the that stupid Ananon or what the hell?
Oh yeah, you talking about Hoochie Taylor Green?
If I was one of those women sitting in the same room with her, I would have done through the biggest fucking book I could find at her head.
Do you hear me? There was a Valerie Plaskett. She's the delegate. She represents the Virgin Islands, right? She said, whenever they said that hooker tried to get into the Capitol with a gun, and the Capitol Police stopped her at first, and then they let her through. And so Cori Bush, from Missouri, she had an office next to her. So she said her staff didn't feel comfortable, so she had her office moved. And so she was asking him, and Valerie Plaskett was asking him MSNBC. She was like, so do you feel comfortable? Are you afraid? And she said, look, let me put it this way. They know who to come at like that. In other words, no, bitch, I ain't worried because they come to me like that. I am not the one, right?
Mm-mm.
So, yeah.
Did you hear what the latest thing that she did? Because I kept seeing people all day long the other day, I think Friday, talking about how they were saved from peach dishes or whatever. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, apparently Bill Gates is trying to kill everybody or make everybody gay or something like that.
And the monkeypox. It was with the monkeypox. Yeah.
Not Petri. Peachtree.
Oh yeah, Peachtree instead of Petri dish.
That's an accounting program. Peachtree.
Yes.
I used to use it.
Yes. She could. What is she fucked up?
Straight people will be phased out soon. She says the gay people are going to be all there is, and all the straight people are being phased out.
Yeah, because it's a plot against gay straight people. I'm an ally, and I don't give a shit. Listen, I don't care what heterosexual people do in their bedrooms, let alone gay people. I don't know why people are obsessed with that. I don't need to know your gory details. I mean, do what you do. As long as you ain't forcing yourself on somebody and you ain't fucking a kid, do what you do. Right? I mean, hey, teach his own. As long as it's consensual and grown, I ain't got a problem with it.
Right. So why can't we all just say, okay, then that's what it is. Let them do what they do.
Do what you do. I don't need to know what y'all do.
Say, let them.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're happy and they're not hurting
Not you,
anybody, I
let
mean,
them.
why do I care?
Right.
Because everybody deserves to be happy.
So that's why she's got to say they're taking over and there won't be any straight people left or anything. She's got to do something to amp people up enough to hate them.
That's right.
And get scared. And
In this world.
Yep.
But avoid peaches, apparently.
Avoid peaches.
And she fucked up a couple of words in that tweet. Everybody was talking about, like, what the hell is she even talking about? Like, she doesn't even know what words mean. And this is somebody elected her. And again, she got the nomination 2 weeks ago. To run again.
They've got country people twisted because they're thinking, I ain't giving up my peaches.
Especially in Georgia. They're like, fuck you, we eat peaches.
There's a song about it. There's a song about it.
Stupid ass.
From the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm going to the country and going to eat a lot of peaches. That's how it starts out.
You so hillbilly. I love you, Christy.
Seeing some memes of guns and peaches, guys. Guns and peaches.
Yeah, it does. I can sing the whole song for you. I know it.
From my guns and peaches.
I bet you do.
And the ironic thing is, you know the name of the band?
Huh?
Presidents of the United States of America.
Shut your mouth. See? Leave it to Christy now. I'm telling y'all. You hillbilly. You kill me. I love it. they go fuck around. Again, this is what I say. People, you know, we can be both. We can have fun and laugh, but again, be serious about things. I can't stand it when people act like it's a dichotomy. Like Trisha said, I watch sitcoms most days. There's a sitcom on right now in the background. I watch sitcoms, I watch sports, but I also know what the fuck is going on around me. And I want my elected officials to be smarter. I'm pretty smart. I want you to be even smarter, right? I want my president to be even smarter. I want people I elect to know something about something, right? Not be the dumbest motherfucker in the room.
And care about beings more than money.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to tell me what happened in our history. Know our history. I want you to be able to think strategically and so that we can do what is best for our country economically and internationally. I want you to be able to be your demeanor, not just your demeanor outward, but your ability to look at a situation and assess the situation and be, even-minded and react accordingly. I'm not that person. I'm not, oh my God, whatever, right? I'm not going to try that, but I would like for my elected officials to be better than I am.
And like I said, this is historical, and I recommend, that's one of our recommendations on the website, is read Soul of America by John Meacham, because he does put this in historical perspective. And one thing that people don't realize, this coup, they said it in 1866. Writers in the South said, okay, we might have lost the war. We might not be able to enslave people, but we can win the politics. We can win government office. We can do it that way. And they've been doing it for 100, and now we are here. And so again, let's consider who these people are. Let's consider who they are. We shouldn't be so surprised that they attacked the Capitol. During the Revolutionary War, we wouldn't be America. We wouldn't be a democracy. We wouldn't have been the United States of America, because unless there was slavery in the Constitution. The first draft said, all right, we can't be a country that says we're about all men are created equal and free and then enslave people. The South said, nope, we'll side with the British if that's in there. They were willing to say, fuck it, we'll side with tyranny if that means we have to give up slavery. In the Civil War, they were like, fuck you, we'll create a whole different country if that means we have to give up oppressing people in this country. In the Civil Rights Movement, they said, you know what, fuck you, we will tear down this fucking government if we have to give equal rights to black people. Are we surprised that those same people, the progenitors of those same people now, are willing to actually take up arms against our own government? They are willing, they're siding with Russia. They sided with Russia to get Trump elected. Rather than, and this all started because we, I know they like to say we, y'all didn't, we elected a black president.
Now if you notice though, when Trump was still in office and all that shit was going on that Putin was doing that he shouldn't have been doing, nobody wasn't really saying anything foul about him. But now that, you know, Biden and Kamala are in office, and all this shit's going on with Russia, they got a lot to say about him and support Ukraine and all Ukraine. Well, you know what? You need to learn to love yourself because you obviously do not.
Yes.
Because if you loved yourself, then you would put others before you.
That's right. And you wouldn't be a fucking
And those
hypocrite.
are the type of people we need, not only in our classrooms, but in our government.
In our government.
They are so few and far between.
That's right. You can't just keep electing these lunatics and think something right is going to happen.
Because they come out and they stomp and they pound their fists and they yell. And they're like, and I am godly and I love our Constitution. And so I love America. And they say these things and they yell them. And I'm like, but you behave differently.
Like like Rachel says, watch what they do, not what they say.
Because what you are saying, or actually what you're doing, isn't anything that I have seen Jesus talk about in the Bible. What you are doing in our government has nothing to do with in our Constitution at all. But people continue to believe them because they're yelling so loudly about it.
And our media, the news media, perpetuates it.
Repeating and repeating and repeating. They're like, oh, well, so-and-so said. You're not doing a news story.
Right.
You're not saying anything but like, well, what do you think about what Marjorie Taylor Greene said? Okay, well, I saw a funny meme, but I shouldn't be getting my news on Facebook.
Thank you.
So you don't get to say, well, this is what Marjorie said about that. No. Yeah. What you do is this is what happened. Then here's the action, and here's the what's the next logical question of every piece of information that comes to your desk. But the gas bag got elected because you guys thought it was funny.
Yeah, thought it was cute.
You're getting ad dollars because people are tuning in because he was a crazy
and stupid
lunatic.
And they thought it was fun to laugh at every dumb thing he said. And not realizing you're tearing down this country. Your propaganda, he's using propaganda and colluding with Russia. We said in 2016, this podcast actually started in the summer of 2016. Our first episode was after he said, Russia, if you're listening. And we said, now that should be a disqualifier. Every American should be like, what the fuck? Instead, the pussy tape came out the same 2 hours later. And there, what did the media say? Oh, he said, grab him by the pussy. And everybody jumped on that. And that's all. Everybody just totally forgot. He was like, yeah, Russia, help me. Putin, go wiretap Hillary Clinton. Go own your political opponent. Having a foreign entity, an adversary of this country, go spy and corrupt and infiltrate her campaign. And people in that role. So the pussy tape was more important than that in our democracy.
Yeah. And that wasn't enough to make anybody mad either.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what was so disturbing is that people were either like, the media were like, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times. And I was mildly entertained watching them try to figure out a different way to say pussy on air.
Grab by the private parts.
Yes. That's what everybody kept talking about over and over and over. So we were to that, or you had, because I only saw the highlights, quote unquote, from the wee little Carlson and the idiot Sean, different things that they were saying, and what's the problem with this? And like, seriously, what's wrong with it? Oh,
it's locker room talk.
Boy talk. No.
I don't know where y'all hang. That's disgusting. He's talking about grabbing little girls and stuff behind girl pageants or Miss America pageants and stuff. They're perverts. America. They project. Again, they're the pedophile. Think about this. The only Republican they've thrown out of their caucus, the only one, even after an insurrection, is Cawthorn. And that's because he made the mistake of talking about Perv Club. The first rule of Pervert Club is don't talk about Pervert Club, right? They're like, I heard one of the commenters say, or yeah, it was Trevor Noah was like, I'm starting to think that there was a GOP orgy club. Yeah, you think? I don't doubt it. They're like, where Democrats are running.
Who would want to be part of that?
Right? Ew. They're all gross and lecherous and swampy. But again, they say, oh, Democrats are running a secret pedophile ring, sex trafficking. Huh? Are they? Or is it you trying to project that onto somebody else?
Well, that's the nature of their entire that's all you have to do is watch. Whatever it is that they're saying about their opponent.
Yep.
That is exactly what they are doing, and it is borne out time and time and time again.
And people need to quit falling for it. I mean, again, especially our elected leaders, quit giving them the benefit of the doubt. Right. I mean, hell, how long are you going to give the benefit of the doubt, you fucking idiots? I mean, I'm done. They get no benefit of the doubt. We are done negotiating. There is no compromise between that position, fascism, and democracy. There is nowhere we can meet in the middle. So quit trying to and quit pretending like we're going to.
There's enough space for that. So we are.
I don't think they really realize if they get their way, if the Republicans get in power, the ones that they're really going to hurt the most are your poor Republicans.
Yes.
More than any of us.
Remember,
and they're not smart enough to
we
understand.
We had to go to the country for abortions. You know.
Yeah.
We can have guns too. So they want to have guns everywhere. So can we. We can see that they're not protecting anybody.
That's right.
I mean, I don't think they realize the hellscape that they're in for.
That's right.
Should this really happen?
It's right.
They know they're going to just attack them because they're going to be begging for it. Oh, what? You want to take my rights? Take them. Just save me.
Yes. Yes, because there's more of us. We outnumber them 3-1. When it gets that 36%, trust me, we'll wake up if it gets to that point. And that 36% is with us, not with them. They're 25%. And again, we talk about this all the time on Boardwalk Empire, that line that what's his face says, you got guns, we got guns, everybody got guns. And at the end of that episode, it was a bloodbath. Everybody was dead. Okay? So again, you're a death cult. I have a decent life. I like my life. I'm not trying to die on purpose, right? So I don't know what hellscape they're envisioning, but it is murder on all sides. It's bloodshed on all sides. I don't want this side having guns at random, and I don't want that side. I want to be able to go to the fucking grocery store without worrying about getting shot down in a hell of bullets. I want kids to be able to go to school without worrying about getting shot in a hell of bullets. I mean, this is not a... In Dodge City, in the Wild West, you had to park your guns at the sheriff's office before you came into town. There was a reason. Homesteaders they would start to set up their ranches and set up their homes, and then some outlaws would come in shooting guns and tear up the city, and you couldn't have a civilization. You couldn't have a store. You couldn't have a saloon. You couldn't set up a home because there was too much violence. And so guess what? Those rowdy, manly men out west came up with all these gun laws that said, no, you got guns on your way. They would meet them at the town entrance and say, yep, checking your guns at the sheriff's office. Now we're like, okay, well, give him an Uzi. Give him an AR, give him an assault rifle that can shoot off 300 rounds.
Lauren Boebert says she needs a tank.
You know what? These little hookers, they get on my nerves. You know what? Boebert too. Boobert.
Oh my God, she's an idiot.
Yeah. Bitch, like Christy. Come on.
She did a new commercial with a tank.
Who is it?
She doesn't understand why, why she can't have a tank. It's her right to have whatever she wants.
Oh my God.
That cannot be real.
Again, go to Ukraine if you want to fight in a tank, bitch. Listen. None of these, they talk all big and badass, please. You know, when we were growing up, where we grew up.
She's not even much taller than me.
Yeah, she's not. And she talking all this shit. Bitch, if you were when we grew up, and y'all know this, there weren't guns in Portsmouth. When people got in fights, they didn't go grab a gun. You had to be able to swing those dukes, and you had to do it on your own, right? If you can't fight, we looked at you like, if you had to go get a weapon, that's some bullshit. That's some punk shit. You don't know how to fight. You don't know how to hold your own. Bitch, get out of here.
And if you knew that you was going to have to fight somebody, then fight fair, well, you just brought some family with you.
That's right. You brought your crew with you. So, bitch, let's do it. You know, you
We're
get
gonna
out your
handle
tank,
it,
you put down your
and
gun, and
somebody's
let's
gonna
see.
win, somebody's gonna lose, or we're
That's
gonna get
right.
broke up, and everybody's gonna go home. That's what's
And
gonna
you
happen.
live to fight another day. Bring it,
That's
bitch. You
right.
think you so fucking tough? You ain't
Right.
tough. You know how to swing your dukes. I guarantee you, none of them have been in an actual fight. None of them ever had to actually swing their dukes.
Right.
Come on. Hey, you gotta grab a gun, you gotta grab a weapon. That's some punk shit. You garbage. You know what the hell you doing. Bring it. All of them. Even those little
That's not
boys.
manly. That's not manly.
It's not. Again, you talk about fucker Carlson and all them talk. This is manly, bitch. I'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? I'll take you out back. Like what did the dude who plays Victor Newman on Young and the Restless when Trump was running? He was like, I'll take him outside the back and show. I'd like one time to take him out behind the shed and show him. Yeah, he was like this dude ain't never been hit before in real life. Yeah, I can tell. You ain't never been, because you a little ass chick talking about something. I need a tank. Yeah, you need a tank. You would need a tank. You would need a motherfucking tank and a weapon.
I
I'd like to punch him in his balls, but his diaper would be in the way.
JP. Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's an actual ad she made, though. I really haven't seen anything. That's insane.
Yeah, they're crazy. This violence, we used to teach kids to use your words, not to be violent, to tell the truth. These are the adults. These are the adults, quote unquote. I mean, do they tell their kids these dumbass things? Grab a weapon, shoot your fellow classmate if they talk about you.
Well, they put them in pictures with guns, AK-15s.
Mm-hmm.
The
They
holiday
do.
picture this year.
That's so. I mean, again, the stupidity. My brain goes, no, no, that's too dumb, too dumb. Don't even try to process that.
I would feel like a terrorist. Like, what would be my agenda for wanting to have guns all around me? Like, if I am so brave and powerful, I don't need to show it to people. So the only reason that I would be showing it is to scare people. Why would I want to scare people other than to terrorize them into believing what I believe? That's terrorism, and that's what I feel like they should be charging them with terrorism.
That's it. They are domestic terrorists. That's why I hate when they call them militia groups. These aren't militia groups. These are domestic terrorist cells. I mean, if they were Muslim, we would use the right words.
Well, you're absolutely correct. And also, though, the Second Amendment allows for you to have a well-organized militia.
And regulated.
But yes, well-organized and regulated militia. It doesn't say you can get whatever firearm you want in the world. So do your thing.
Yeah, and when it was written, all there were muskets and rifles. So, okay, let's go back. If I, as a woman, have to go back to 17th century law about my body, well, all right, then let's go back to 17th century law about your fucking weapon, right? If we talk about
and it all went to landowners, too. I would just like to say that. It went to landowners, considering that most Americans don't own their land out full right. The bank owns it, or they rent. They're going to be in a whole hell of a lot of trouble when they really start enforcing that Constitution verbatim.
I'm trying to tell you verbatim, if we want to go all the way back, y'all going to be real sad and salty.
No, you really are, because, you've got all those educated elite, liberals who own land and stuff. So,
yes. Yes, all those rich New York City and California liberals who pay the majority of taxes in this country, I might add.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
Well, we'll still get to have guns. So there's that. So these are all, like I said, y'all are so much fun. I could talk to y'all all damn day. You know that? And this is why, again, we're going to be covering these hearings all this week, because people have to tune in. I mean, we really have to get serious as a nation. And whether you've been tuned out all year, or forever, now's the time. We are literally talking about, we are in a civil war right now. We are in literally the fight of our lives. It doesn't feel like it because we're not in Ukraine hiding in bunkers and shit. But this is what's happening on paper in elections.
I want people to understand that the civil war, the race war that they're looking for as a civil war, right, is not the war that we are having or the war that we will be in. We're having a Cold Civil War of ideology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's fascism on one side
Absolutely.
and democracy on the other. And one is freedom and one is not.
Because it's the same feeling, whether it's, you're fighting amongst each other physically or not. It's the same feeling as the Civil War, because even people that you do like, you're like, if shit goes down, we're going to be on opposite sides of the fence.
Opposite sides.
Just like in the Civil War,
That's
brothers fought against brothers.
Mm-hmm. And we have to end it once and for all. We have been having this fight since the fucking founding. It's over. When we do this, we have to end it. We have settled this now. We are for democracy. The majority of us are for a democracy. We don't want to live in a fascist state, and we are not giving in to the Civil War rhetoric and ideology. You've lost repeatedly, historically, and it's over. It is up to our generation to end it. We are the freest. I'll repeat, all of us on this screen right now, black and white as women, are the freest generation of Americans ever born in this country. We are the first. And we have to be the last to have to fight this fight. End of story. And it starts with being tuned in. And this is an actual coup that is happening right now. We can't afford for people to be tuned out. We can't afford for people to be like, oh, what's going on with those hearings? What hearings? We need you to listen, just like during Watergate. And I'm going to end on this thing. When Watergate happened, I was interested to watch Mark Felt, Deadline White House Mark Felt, the Mark Felt story. He's the one. He was Deep Throat during Watergate. He didn't Watergate. What we forget is that it was over. The burglary was reported. It made national news for a few months, and then it died down. And Nixon was reelected. And when it came back through the Washington Post, when Bernstein and when they were putting it in the Washington Post, when Deep Throat Mark Felt started telling this story, it was like, well, wait a minute. What's going on now? And it became intriguing. Then people started listening. Then people started reading. And then people started watching. And then they had no choice because there were tapes. We have the audio. We have the recordings. We know that these things happen. So we have to treat it with the seriousness that they did. Because this is 100 times worse than what happened in Watergate. And if we don't stop it now, we are done. We are done. And that's not hyperbolic. This is the fact.
Yeah. No, they are trying to destroy all of our systems.
Taking down institution after institution. They've got the Supreme Court.
Which that court doesn't recognize that it's just a puppet.
A kangaroo court now. And they've got half the Congress.
Are unapologetically only focused on pleasing the fascist.
And we are not going down that road. We will fight to the end. I know we will. We're not going to end on that. We're not going to be a fascist government. And we're not going back in chains. You ain't going to put my pussy in a chain. We are not doing any of that. Y'all can go and pound sand on that. So we're going to be all week long. The hearings start on Thursday, June 9th. And so I want everybody to tune in. It's going to be prime time. It's going to be on the daily shows on MSNBC. Watch it on C-SPAN. That's free, and you don't have to deal with the commentary. But we're going to try to live stream Thursday in between the breaks on the hearings. So tune in, and we're going to live stream so you can comment. You can jump in and tell us what you think. We need everybody participating. So tell everybody you know. And we're going to fight. We're going to fight to keep this democracy. End of story. I love you, ladies. You know that.
Love you too, Malika.
You too. Love you guys.
Just to let you know,
later.
I've enjoyed this immensely. But June 9th is my wedding anniversary. So if I don't get to tune in,
happy anniversary.
If I don't get to tune in, it's because Jeff and I are out doing something together.
Do something great. And then we'll pick it back up next week. You're in this. Good. All right, ladies. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Is it Saturday? Sunday?
No.
It's Sunday?
Sunday.
Good. Yes. Gaslit.
Yes, I like that show.
That's my show. And it's important. So everybody tune in, comment, share. We're going to have this uploaded and ready for you by Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. And then we're going to be ready to go on Thursday. So if you don't want to listen to the news, tune in to us. We'll commentate for you.
There you go.
Thank you so much. You guys are the best.
See you
And
guys later.
we'll have
Bye-bye.
another one soon. Thank you. Bye.